Good morning, everyone. My name is Rick Noda. I am the founder of T3 Body and your host today for T3 Talks, where we tighten, tactical, and transition. I've got my friend here, Morgan Balls. No, just kidding. I got Morgan for Defense Tactics and Firearms. Morgan, tell me your real name and what company you work for.
So it's Morgan Ballis, but I was in the Marines, so I got Balls, Ballis. It doesn't even faze me at this point.
As Jarheads together, we're always messing with each other for sure. Always busting chops. So tell me a little bit about your company, brother.
Yeah. So I'm with Defensive Tactics and Firearms. We're a firearms training company based out of San Diego, California, and we specialize in the legal aspects of armed self-defense. So our motto is learn the laws, win the fight. And really for me, what that happened is I was still active duty in the Marines, and I had a lot of my Marines getting in trouble for legal aspects. We're also in California, and I'm from Arizona, hence the hat. And so to me, I was just at a loss. I was trying to find training that would help me understand what those laws were, and I wasn't satisfied, so I said, you know what? I'm going to create that company that provides that training.
Well, that's typical Marines, and what typical Jarheads do is if, we make our environment conducive to us, so if we can't fix it, we'll just do our own. Now, I'll tell you that when we used to do our end of the day, all right, Marines, before you turn them over, one of the things I wish I had you around, because again, what most people don't know is as a NCO or non-commissioned officer in charge of your Marines, you're charging from sun up to sundown. Oh. So you're getting a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, hey, Corporal Noda, you won't believe what. I'm like, oh my God, I got to run to Tijuana and go pick this guy up because he's too drunk to drive home. True story. All right, but now, tell me, we were talking off camera here. You tell me about, necessary as Jarheads because we want to stay on the level here. But give us an instance of kind of how your services would work.
So we do everything from never touched a firearm all the way up to training law enforcement.
Oh, nice.
So we're a law enforcement affiliated training company, but really we cater our training to the individual student. Everything we do is data driven and evidence based, so nothing's anecdotal for me. Right? I will be able to point you to the resource or the research to validate what we are telling you or recommending you, and that includes the laws.
The laws.
Because there's been so many times where I have sought out law enforcement instructors thinking this cop must know the law, right. And let me tell you, cops don't know the law. It's not their job. Right. Their job is to arrest and investigate. It's the DA's job to actually prosecute.
To get them up. I'll tell you, I noticed a lot of that, and we've talked in previous podcasts about that. Sometimes with your areas of awareness and things like that, and sometimes your law enforcement is getting caught up to speed. They're not necessarily looking inside the law, and that's why I love the use of mastery. Seeking out someone like yourself that's mastering the law, right. So that when that interpretation comes, I'm not interpreting it incorrect. I'm really getting it very detailed. Us Jarheads always use that 7 P's. Oh, there I go again, Esteban. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Morgan, I say it in almost every broadcast because again, it's just one of those things that it was instilled us in boot camp, and most people forget about it, but we use it in some shape or form. Now you said something that I want you to touch on a little bit more is. I always I talk about just subjective data, I feel good, or objective data, like you said. Now, again, give me one example of, for example, I'll give you, for me, concealed carry. I don't have my concealed carry permit. I get stopped. I don't have a permit, and I do have a gun in my car. What can happen? Yeah,
phenomenal. So that's really what we discuss in a lot of our training. And let me tell you, I require myself and my instructors to attend a minimum of 100 hours of continuing education every year.
Oh wow, that's
cool. We're lifelong learners, right? And I don't really consider myself an expert. I consider myself a lifelong learner.
Yes.
But what you presented was stuff that we present in the class. And we have sometimes this judge by 12, carried by 6 mentality. And really what it is you're going to get judged by 12 and convicted by 6.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong mindset where we need to just be within the law. We may not agree with the law, but we need to operate within it, because the truth is you getting pulled over by law enforcement for speeding is much more likely than you using your gun in self-defense.
Right.
And as soon as you get pulled over and you have that firearms violation, we have what's known as wobblers, where maybe it's a misdemeanor, but other conditions can now make it a felony.
Oh, nice.
For example, depending on where you're at in the United States or even within California, if you have what everyone else knows as standard capacity, but a magazine with more than 10 rounds, if you have certain types of ammunition in certain jurisdictions, whether that gun is registered in California, what would have maybe been a misdemeanor is now a felony.
Wow.
And your judge by 12 just got you a prohibited possession of firearms for the rest of your life.
And that would, as a nurse, I would lose my license from
Right.
that. I'm gone from that. And really, and with a felony, again, not to say that it's a bad thing, but it could be a bad thing where I can't, I end up working not in my field anymore because it inhibits me to do that. And that's I never say I want to lose the privilege to do my passion.
Right.
And if I have a Freudian slip or a mix-up, and because I don't know law, that's not an excuse. Because there are people like yourself who are staying educated and up to date with that stuff. And that is really where I say that where an ecosystem works really well. If have it be physical therapy, have it be the law part of it, it's again, we have to look for individuals that can really help, in the ecosystem. Now, I'll tell you guys a little true story about me and, and the legal stuff. I actually joined the Marine Corps, and I tell everybody, it kind of saved my life. Being a Chicago kid at 21, I used to hear my dad go, tick tock, either you're in jail or dead. So it was kind of nice that during Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and during Kuwaiti Liberation, I went to war. But now, the thing is, now understanding the law and knowing the law and coming back to here, you having guys that are getting out of the Marine Corps, these operators in this. Now, you do have, and we did say we were going to talk about one company.
Yeah.
You have another company. I just want you to, we're going to put here in the description that he also does. So tell me a little bit, just briefly, about the consulting company you do.
Yeah, so in 2011, I was still in the Marines. I was back home, which is Tucson, Arizona at the time, on recruiting duty, actually. And my mom was present at the Gabrielle Giffords attack. She was actually literally at the table when the attack occurred. She survived it. She wasn't harmed. But for me, that was a catalyst because I started to ask myself questions. Okay, I'm an infantry Marine. I know how to analyze the enemy. I know how to analyze infrastructure. What would I have done? Right. What could have changed stuff? What couldn't have changed? I actually went to high school with the shooter.
Wow.
And so since then, over now the past, 8 years, I have devoted my life and I've been called to take my knowledge and my expertise and apply it specifically to schools, but also faith-based organizations. So since then, I've got my bachelor's, my master's in Homeland Security. I'm currently in a doctoral program with all of my studies focused on school active shooter events.
And that, again, I hate to say, but, when we put this country on our back, we often say that I want to keep this stuff in Afghanistan. I want to keep this stuff in Iraq and in Somalia and all those other places. And slowly it's unfortunately trickling to the United States. So it's glad to see that, you are talking to groups, making them more aware of this. And you guys, that's what it is. It's about awareness,
right.
We talk about walking around in the white. We don't want to do that. Those are the sheep. We talked about that. You got the yellow and the orange and the red. I don't mind being around in a little bit of yellow, where
right.
you're kind of like being present, what you're seeing, and then, so that if things come up, threats, that you're starting to go from orange to red, that you do have that what I call that muscle memory. And educational groups like this. And I got to tell you, it's important that, you think about military personnel, you're going to get your doctrine, dude. Like, they think jarheads are just these jarheads, But, literally, you have sitting at this Marine right here, Morgan, he's about to get his doctorate. Go, Dr. Jarhead, That's the coolest thing. So, Morgan, any parting words or something, any information you want to give everybody before you close up today?
Just a couple quick things. Is the same thing like my firearms training company, my consulting firm, which is Campus Safety Alliance, it's all data-driven and evidence-based.
Nice.
So like last week, I was literally at the National School Safety Conference, and I'm presenting data to educators. Next month, I'm going to present to the National Tactical Officers Association. Same thing, data. How do we change our tactics and techniques based off of the evidence? So for me, really being able to bring that out, that's my life's work, just like you.
Yeah,
that's
baby.
My passion. I just want to get the word out there.
I tell you, and with this and Morgan, when we often say, our motivation inspired to be better. Thanks, Morgan, for coming out, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you guys. T3 Body, you guys, is a company and a fitness company that really talks about the complete athlete. When I talk about our motivation inspires you to be better, all right, as a non-for-profit that supports military veterans that suffer from mental health issues, I really enjoy the support you guys are giving me here on YouTube. But again, I am seeking clients on my T3 Body. So if you go ahead and take a look at my website, understand that the intimacy of getting to know you starts with just 30 minutes of motivation. So you go on there, you sign up for one of those, you get a one-on-one remote talk with me just like this. Then I encourage you to go and look at one of my training plans, download a 4 to 8 week training plan, and really kind of just test your body, test yourself, and just really start to get yourself ready to then do the next thing is where you get 4 or 5 of your friends together and dare yourself to be better, where there you have a little bit more of my information along with my training plan. You get some remote sessions with me regardless of where you're at. You notice if you're watching me on YouTube right now, you could see you can hear my voice, and I can train you, all right? And that 45-day dare is a great way to just see and challenge yourself to really do the final thing is become a member. Being a member with me is a commitment, and it's made for just an elite amount of people. So when I talk about membership here, I really talk about a really elite group of individuals who really understand our core values of God, country, family, and really live by and have really adopted where our motivation inspires them to be better. So I wanted to touch on that, you guys, and really use that so that individuals like yourself who are getting better and inspiring others that understand that, you know what, we do need your support to keep everything going.